Are you a student passionate about law? Or are you a Form 4 leaver waiting for results? Or do you already have your results and you're thinking about pursuing a bachelor degrees in law? Then this is your perfect video. This is from KCC to Law, Bachelor of Laws, and this is the Kenyan High Schooler. Let's get started. In this particular video, we are going to ask ourselves a few questions. Number one, what is law as a career? And am I really ready for it? It is also important to know there's a difference between being a lawyer and an advocate. A lawyer will basically have his degree or her degree, but will not represent you in court as an advocate will. Be sure to watch this video to the very end in order to understand more about the difference. The second question we shall ask ourselves is, what are the admission requirements to study law in Kenya? The third question, what are the costs and where can I enroll to have this degree? I will also ask, what are the stages and the duration of pursuing a law degree? Then, what career opportunities and specialties can one explore in law? These are some of the questions we shall be answering in this video. Be sure to watch the very end and let's get started. So what is law as a career? Law is basically a system of rules created by societies to maintain order, resolve disputes, and protect rights. Okay? And you realize that when you are studying law, you will cover various aspects. For instance, criminal law. This is a law that deals with crimes. Okay? Civil law that is a law that deals with resolving disputes between people. Then you also have constitutional law that deals with the governing of the state, the rules that governs the state. We have people who have specialized in that, and so many others. Okay, let's get to some reality check here. If you are considering to study law, you must be prepared for the following realities. Number one is rigorous reading. Be prepared to read and analyze large volumes of cases, statutes, and legal theories. That one I can promise you for sure. The second thing is critical thinking. You see, be ready because you learn to think logically, argue persuasively, and solve problems creatively. We don't want to have a lawyer who just thinks like a villager out there. We want to have someone who has, the creativeness of this particular degree. So be ready to have that critical thinking. Again, something else is research and writing. Okay, you need to have strong research and clear writing skills are vital because you'll be drafting legal documents and arguments. Something else of key is public speaking because you need to be debating and presenting cases as a significant part of legal training. Although we shall come out to find that there are some other avenues you can take and maybe you can end up avoiding public speaking. But again, this is a very important skill even in life. So don't really go against it. Those are just some of the reality checks. Okay. Something else, you need some qualities. You need some good communication skills because you'll be talking all the time. You need some good analytical mindset because you will have so many things to actually analyze and we want you to give the very best of your stuff. Okay, we need someone who is confident and resilient as well because we don't want someone who is going to just do some shoddy work. We need confidence in you. We need to see that confidence radiating from you. Something else is we need you to have ethical decision making before you take this degree or even in your course of doing it because we'll be dealing with so many aspects and we still require a lot of ethics from you as a lawyer. That is just an overview of what law is as a career. So let's get to some serious stuff now. What are the admission requirements? I'm interested in law, I think I can do it. So how am I going to do it? One is what we call a direct entry. You will need a minimum KCC grade of C+. However, there is a very note better here. Competition is real and therefore we are advising you to score highly. When you have a C+, you can do law in Kenya. The reason why you may not do it is not because of the grade, it's not because of the C+, but because of the competition. Because those who have better grades, those who have the A minuses, the B+, and they want to do this law will be given a first priority to do it. So how does COOPS calculate your points? Because COOPS is the one that is going to enable you to get to this particular course. You calculate your points using what we call raw marks. For instance, you might be having an A plane and your friend has an A plane. But these A planes are totally different because You have an apron of 85, your friend has an apron of 100, which is possible in mathematics. You cannot have the same points. Okay, that is what we call raw marks, and that will play a very big role in determining your points. And I will be explaining this in a short while. So, what will come up with your points that will enable you to actually get to a low degree? Three things. One is the overall grade, as I have explained to you. Maybe you have an A of 84, an A of 83, 82, 81, an A minus of 88, a B plus, whatever grade you have, or even a C plus. So how will they come out to have a cut-off point? Because this is what you will be seeing on your COOPS portal, whatever um you know it is COOPS as of now. This is what they will display. This is what they will use actually qualify you or disqualify you. So they will need your overall grade, then they will need what we call a cluster subject. Something of importance to note is that English must be a minimum of B for you to do low in this country. Sometimes they say English or Kiswahili. Either of them must be a minimum of B, meaning that even if you score an airplane of 83 points or 82 points, and your English or Kiswahili has not made a minimum of B, at least one of them, you cannot do low in this country. So this is a mandatory. Okay. Something else they will check is what we call cluster subjects. They will check cluster subjects. And the four cluster subjects are as follows. They will take an English, which is mandatory, a mathematics or any group 2. These are sciences, maybe physics, chemistry, biology. Then any group 3. This is our humanities. Okay, when we talk about humanities, we mean geography, CRE. Some people used to say that you must have a history to do law, which is not true. So you can either do it with a geography, CRE, and I think anyone has to have done it. It can be IRE, so many humanities here. They pick one. And then lastly, they will pick Kiswahili or any other best. It can be French, it can be business, it can be agriculture. Anything that has been left that is best, they will pick it. Even if it is a science that was left. Okay, that is what will be used to calculate your cutoff points. This is actually the cutoff point for the 2023 year for those who are joining University of Nairobi. So if you calculate yours and you find that you 42, unfortunately you cannot calculate, so calculate for you. You find that you have a 42, then you are better off placed. You might really be lucky to find those high end. 3 is for the other universities that don't have competition in getting. But remember, it's not really about the university. It's about your passion. It's about your hard work that you'll put that will earn your place in this particular country, in that particular legal field. So yes, university is good as we shall see it, but again, your passion, your hard work talks a lot. Some alternative pathways, it's not a must you get it through the direct entry, which is through the KCSE way of it. You can do it through a diploma. Maybe you have a diploma in law from a recognized institution, and then if you got a credit or a distinction, those in diploma can understand this, then you can actually apply to pursue a bachelor's of law. For the degree holders, any bachelor degrees in an law field is actually can allow you to pursue a bachelor's degree in law. Actually, when you see LLB, basically it means a bachelor's degree in law. Okay. So, requirements for foreigners. Again, they must meet equivalent qualifications in their high school systems. Some of them have the A levels or the international bureaucracy levels and all that. You also have to obtain certificate of equivalency from the NEC. NEC will actually convert the qualifications to our system to determine whether they are capable or suitable to do this particular course. You also have to show proficiency in English, and I will also advise you apply directly to the universities and early enough so that you can be able to get these positions. As a matter of fact, these positions are usually very filled, and if you're listening to us and you've just gotten your results, apply immediately. If you have hopes in COOPS, well and good. If you have shaky hopes, ensure you've applied through the private sponsorship, as we shall see, so that you can be able to book your spot as early as possible. So I have now met the admission requirements. What next? Where am I going to study law? We have universities that offer law in Kenya. They are both private and public universities. Public universities include University of Nairobi, Moi, Kenyatta University, Egerton, JKUAT, Maseno University, University of Embu, Kisii University, Chuka University. Some others are not here, like the University of Eldoret, African Nazarene University, private universities, Strathmore, MKU, Quea, Riara University, Kabarak University, and the Daystar University. All these offer law, and you can take your law from any of these universities because all of them have been certified by what we call the Council of Legal Education, CLE. Okay, so any can do. So how will you get through these universities? You can either get through them through COOPs, as we said. COOPs can actually post you when you are competitive. When you are competitive. So what happens when you're not competitive and you still want to study law? You can do it through self-sponsorship. Okay, this can be through locals. Maybe you're a Kenyan or a foreigner, for instance. So again, if you use this route, ensure you do it quite early enough because, especially in the university like University of Nairobi, some applications are usually filled by February, March, May. By all that time, applications are always done, and therefore make it early for you to make a post at that. Nice. So again, I have now met. I've been, successful. I've gotten a university. So how is the sponsorship like? So it's the government sponsorship, especially those who are going to get through COOPs. Okay. There is a quota per university. So each public university has a limited number of government sponsored slots, usually allocated by COOPs. The number will vary yearly based on the national need and the funding. For instance, UN may admit only 200 government sponsored students, while small universities will admit 50 to 100. So this makes it competitive. So if the government will only take 200 students who have done KCC out of maybe the close to 1 million KCC students, they will only pick 200 to sponsor in the University of Nairobi. It means competition is too high. So if you're applying to UN and maybe you don't have an A plane or an A minus or a very strong B plus, then you see those chances become very lean as well as other small universities. So you can actually go on to apply to other smaller universities. At the end of the day, it is your degree, it is a good degree no matter where you take it from. Sometimes I know that is debatable, but anyway, that is the reality out here. Important to know that private universities only admit self-sponsored students. Okay. The other way is self-sponsored, whereby we say that it is fully funded by a parent, a guardian, or a financial institution. Okay. So apply direct to the university. As I said, apply early. I have said that over and over again. Please take that caution. Number three is the cost. So how is the cost like as of 2024? Locals here will pay about 150,000 to about 600,000 shillings. The tuition fees will actually vary. Okay, you find some private universities are cheaper, some public universities are cheaper. So go to their borders. This keeps on changing. That's why I don't really give a definite value, but it keeps on changing. So continue confirming from their websites as it keeps on changing, and you will get a definite figure. But this is basically the outline as it is. For those who are sponsored, it is going to be between 70,000 to 100,000 that you're going to be paying, depending on the band that you are in. So, what's the duration of the degree? So, I have gotten interest. I've been interested with law. I've met the qualifications. I've actually gotten the university. I've gotten the sponsorship. How long will I study this degree? So, the standard duration of a law degree is actually 4 years. Okay, and this is the breakdown. That you will study what we call core law courses in your formation years. That is constitutional law. We said law that deals with the governing of the country. Criminal law, you will study laws dealing with crimes. You will study contracts. These are agreements between two or more parties that are legally binding. For instance, if you hire someone uh, to build your house, the terms you both agree will form a contract, and that contract must be signed at least by a lawyer. So that is part of your work. You also have to study torts. Torts basically are they deal with civil wrongs. They are not really crimes where someone's actions causes harm or loss to another person. So maybe negligence or defamation. For instance, if someone's carelessness causes a car accident, you can sue them under tort law for compensation. Okay. Then you also study legal writing, whereby the skill of writing clear, precise, and persuasive documents used in legal matters, such as contracts, court submissions, or even legal opinions. That is important to note. We also do electives. Okay, we also have electives whereby you study specialist courses like intellectual law. Intellectual law property simply means the law that protects creations of the mind, such as inventions, the patents, music, art, brand names, trademarks, and designs. You also study family law, deals with legal issues related to families such as marriage, divorce, custody of children, inheritance, etc. You also have to study environmental law that focuses on protecting the environment by regulating activities that might cause harm, like pollution or deforestation, and so on and so forth. You also, in your final year, you also do research project. Research project is a small academic assignment that involves gathering information and writing about a specific legal point or topic during your final year. You can also do a dissertation, which is a longer and more detailed academic paper. It's like a thesis that showcases your research on a legal issue, often required to graduate. So you may, according to the university you are, you may need to do them for you to graduate, either a research project or a dissertation. So that's what you'll be doing in your 4 years in campus. So how is the graduation timeline? You'll basically start the program in the September of the admission year, and then after 4 years you will graduate in that November or December of your final year. Okay, then you will earn the title lawyer. From that, I said as I began this particular video, there's a difference between being a lawyer and an advocate. A lawyer can do so many things, as we said. A lawyer is basically anyone with a law degree. Okay, they may work in a legal, advisory roles, research, or drafting, but they cannot represent clients in court. So, if you want to really represent people in court, you want to argue cases, you have to become an advocate. So, how do I become an advocate? This is it. You complete the LLB program. This is what we say the Bachelor's of Law, what we have been talking about. You complete this program first, the 4 years. Okay, so you graduate from what we call a Council of Legal Education accredited institution. This is the university that you will attend. You or when University of Embu, whatever you will attend, it has already been accredited. So you first complete it. Then from there, you now enroll. Sorry, there is a mistake there. You enroll at the Kenya School of Law. You call it the KCL. Okay. So after graduation now, you apply to the Kenya School of Law for the postgraduate diploma in law. It's a bit funny because you start with a degree, then you have a diploma in law. You attend what you call an advocates training program. So you have to have that advocates training program. I don't know whether we are agreeing with one another. Then from there now, the duration is actually 1 year. So after your 4 years, you'll do another 1 year if you want to become an advocate, which is actually 6 months of coursework. So coursework basically is an assignments and projects that are completed during your studies, often graded to assess understanding of the subject, and then also 6 months of pupillage. Okay, pupillage is basically a 6-month internship under a qualified lawyer or a law firm, where a new graduate gets practical training before practicing independently. Then from there, we have courses at Kenya School of Law, including civil procedure. Civil procedure is rules that govern how criminal cases are handled, such as arresting suspects, collecting evidence, and conducting criminal trials. And that is criminal procedure. Civil procedure is the one that rules that govern how civil cases are handled in court, such as filing lawsuits, serving notices, and conducting trials. We have legal drafting, whereby this is the writing of legal documents such as contracts, wills, or pleadings for court cases. Then we have the ethics, principles that guide lawyers in conducting themselves honestly, responsibly, and professionally. So the approximate cost of studying these, again, it keeps on changing, maybe from 250,000 to 300,000. Again, this is a value that is not definite, it keeps on changing. Keep on checking for this. So after you've enrolled at that point, now you'll pass the bar exams. This is an exam that people complain, oh, it may be easy, hard. People are passing it, so why don't you do it? It was again administered by the Council of Legal Education at the end of the Advocates Training Program, the ATP. So passing the bar exam qualifies one how to practice law in Kenya. You can now practice law in Kenya. You can now go and maybe start your own law firm if you have, the finances to do that. So you'll be admitted to the bar. Upon passing the bar exams, one is admitted to what we call the role of advocates. The role of advocates is a register of lawyers in Kenya who have been admitted to practice law. So only those on this role are allowed to present clients in court. Very important to note. So formal ceremony is held where you now take the advocate's oath, and by that you are now an advocate. So later you can become a senior counsel. So becoming a senior counsel is more of an appointment or a nomination and vetting, because you must have at least 15 years of active practice as an advocate. You must demonstrate outstanding performance in law, such as handling law, landmark cases, legal writing. You must really be a name, household name in the law field for you to earn this. Okay, because the president even have to formally confer this title. This title is conferred by the president himself after you've been nominated and vetted by the senior council committee. It's actually a very lucrative title to have. People like Kalonzo Musyoka, and so forth and so on. It's a very, very important title to actually have in this particular nation. So what next? After my degree, I have my degree. I'm now an advocate. I'm a lawyer. So what next? What can I do with my degree? The first thing is the legal practice, and you said you can become an advocate, as we said. Okay. So what next after that? What else can I do with this particular degree? So I can actually become an advocate. We've explained how you can become an advocate. You can go on to become a corporate lawyer. A corporate lawyer basically deals with cases that are, you know, cases that are more of, how will I explain to you now? Work in house for companies to handle contracts, compliance, and the legal advice. Okay, then we have a litigator who specializes in courtroom representation for the civil or criminal cases. We have an arbitrator who resolves disputes outside the court. With your law degree, you can also specialize in intellectual property law. As we said, you focus on protecting trademarks and copyrights. You can become a family lawyer. You handle divorce and inheritance cases. You become an environmental lawyer. You advocate for sustainable practices and environmental protection. You become a human rights lawyer as well. You work on cases related to fundamental rights and freedom. You become a tax lawyer, whereby you assist individuals and corporations with tax compliance and disputes. You can also decide to have to be under the government, the public service. This will become a magistrate. You pursue judicial positions after gaining experience and passing the judiciary exams. You can become a state counsel or a prosecutor. You work for the government in the legal advisory or the prosecution roles. You can even become a policy advisor in the government, whereby you help shape national laws and policies. You can also get into international opportunities, whereby you can become a diplomat. You represent Kenya international legal negotiations or organizations. You become a humanitarian lawyer, whereby you work with NGOs on the global human rights or refugee cases. Okay, you can become an international trade or maritime law. You specialize in the cross-border uh, commerce and the shipping law. You can also decide as a lawyer in non-legal fields. You have entrepreneurship. You start a business leveraging legal skills. We have politics. You use legal knowledge in legislation or the leadership roles. We have advocacy, where you champion social causes or the community projects. You can also decide to have alternative careers, e.g., consultancy. You have your firm. You provide expert advice on the legal and compliance matters. You can become a legal tech, working to develop technology for the legal systems. For instance, you can come up with a case management software, like it's happening in the country today. You know, we have a contract manager, whereby you draft and manage legal agreements for the businesses. You also can go for legal writing, where you work with all the legal textbooks, reports, or the blogs, etc. Finally, you can get to academia and research. For instance, you become a law lecturer. You teach law at universities after pursuing a master's or a PhD, or you become a legal researcher. You conduct studies on legal systems, reforms, or even specific cases. And you see, there's a lot of things you can do with your degree after it. Therefore, it's a very good degree, something that you can actually go and specialize even further. And when you have so many options like this and so many others that are not even here, then it only means that this is one of those very good degrees that I would even encourage you to go for. Finally, we come to the very end of our video. It has been nice to have you. Law is indeed an awesome career. Success in your endeavors. Don't forget to subscribe. Please do subscribe. It is really helping us a lot to have such videos like this. Click that notification button. Comment what else do you want to know. What other degree that you want us to actually present to you. And with that, we come to the very end. See you next time. This has been the Kenyan High Schooler. Thank you.